So good morning guys. Today I will be discussing about creating your selective edits and just making an overall edit, and I'm going to show you the thought process behind what I did here, right? So first thing we're going to do a selective edit just because we want more focus on the subject. Of course you can do this in post. It's always going to be a lot better when you do it in in the actual shoot. It's a lot more expensive to just do it post shoot. So some people really invest in those lenses and those professional body cameras. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to be selecting. Difficult things that you have to work around are things that where the actual subject merges with the background. So you could see if they're wearing black and it's black. So it's something that you have to pay attention that when you're taking those shoots. So what I'm doing here is probably just doing a rough cut edge. Some people would use the marker, the pencil tool, but if it's just a quick project, I'm gonna do it this way. Sorry about that. So some of the things that you have to be careful about is in between the legs. Some people like it in between the legs. Some people like it somewhere else. But I don't like it in between the legs. It's always very difficult to edit. So in between the shoes and then in the soles, those something you have to pay attention to. The hair a while ago is also difficult. The tip of the shoes usually with the sheen. What happens is the sheen actually goes with the background or the other way around. So those are some of the things that you will be doing. So this is just a basic edit. I won't do any color correction or color manipulation in this segment. It's just showing you how to select using the tool. Some of the shortcuts that I'm using when I'm trying to zoom in and zoom out is Control 0, Control plus, and Control minus. And then also you're doing the left bracket or brace, and then you do the right bracket or brace when you're trying to expand or minimize your cursor. Okay, of course here I'm doing a refining the edge. After doing maybe a rough cut, you use the refine edge. I think it's Control Alt R or Control Shift R, and you can actually zoom in to select the hair. Some people would use the Smart Radius tool within the refine edge tool, but it's just a rough cut, I'm saying. Right, so for this photo, I know it's a bit reddish. The skin tone is not like how I see him in person, so there are some shades you need to go there. And it's generally not advisable to do change your selective edits after the refined edge. Of course, there's some ways that you can do that more efficiently. But what you're seeing here, I want to more smoothness, more feather, more contrast. Not that so that it will be standing out from that border, but what I'm trying to do here is to separate the subject more from the background. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate the layer and just apply a blur on that layer. Some people would prefer using a smart object. They would prefer a smart object, and you can see as I zoom out, those details aren't really paid attention to. So I'm gonna be doing a blur, and actually I was not happy with that, and actually I'm gonna crank it up a bit, just a little bit more. But you can see in this photo that there's a problem within the focus on the foreground and the background that makes it look unnatural if you do a select edit. So in those cases you would have to select the speakers here and the mic stand, and you would need to do select edits before you apply to those layers specifically, and you would have to chronically arrange them. I'm also doing a cut on this photo. Just I just wanted to do like a simple greeting card, and then I'm gonna be adding some text here in a bit. So just looking from this photo, you can see that I separated and made a blur. Now I'm adding in the text. So for the selection of text, you want to make sure it adheres to the character of the person you're writing it into. Initially I thought it would be a good idea to put it up top, and then people would want to do this before they do the crop, but for me, I do the crop first. That's just personally me. I found out I wanted to place it a little bit below because it doesn't fit at the bottom. I'll also be selecting the font. So one thing you can do is after clicking on a specific font, you can scroll down in the mouse wheel and select. So something not too comic, not too technology, something a bit professional from him. So I want some sans on my typeface. So I think I'll be choosing somewhere around this, and then I'll also be selecting the color, something that will pop out of the red, and that is of course lighting something like a chartreuse or a green yellowish. Okay, and then of course I'm going to be duplicating this just to create a shadow effect. Some people would prefer adding an adjustment layer and doing the shadows from there. From me, I just find it more flexible that I do it this way. So, you know, it's really just your choice. There are a million ways to do it. But here I just inverse it roughly with some math, which, you know, 209 plus 19 is, you know, of course, brilliant math, not me. But of course, technically what I'm trying to do is inverse the color wheel. So red and green is a good match, but it wasn't really red, but you know, I wound up, you know, I can check it out. So try inversing and see if it's a good match, and what we have here is a good mix. Pretty decent, you know. Pink, he isn't a pink guy, but you know, I think it's a good contrast, and the red blends with the background, so I'm okay with that. So, and you know, just make sure that when you have these typefaces, you have breathing room on the left and the right, as well as at the bottom. So common mistake with composition for other people is that they add that they don't put space on the left, right, and the bottom for both the subject and the typeface. So I'm going to save this and post this on the group right now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something now on how to use Photoshop. Yep. If you want more, just go ahead and subscribe. Probably come up with more material depending on the feedback I get. So if you do have feedback, you'd like to know more, just give me a message, you know, through the enterprise or on Facebook. Yep. Thank you for watching.